everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another card making video tutorial. Today we are featuring the company Sweet and Sassy for STAMPtember 2023. This is a limited edition exclusive from Simon Says Stamp and Sweet and Sassy. So this is a beautiful floral stamp set with a lot of faith-based sentiments. I really like it, and what I love is this is a stamp set that's going to work for any time. You could even use other sentiments from your stash if you need birthday cards or wedding cards, whatever it might be. You could use the images from this set. So what I am doing today is I decided to stamp my images on smooth white cardstock with embossing and watermark ink, and we're going to heat emboss with different colors of embossing glaze. And I just thought it would be really fun to give it a try and see what kind of results I would get. This is not something I don't think I've ever done this particular technique before, but I have to say I love it so much that I'm going to do it again. So this was definitely kind of what I call playtime. Now, I got smarter when I did my second batch of flowers and leaves and things. I didn't stamp them all at once on one sheet. Instead, because I knew I was using the, I think this is crushed olive embossing glaze, pardon me, for the leaves, I stamped those on a separate sheet of paper and did them all at once. But I was able to kind of carefully apply the embossing glaze to each flower and funnel it back into my container. So it worked out. This is pumice stone, and this is the only kind of what I call neutral that I used. And the reason being, I wanted this to look like a sunflower, and I wasn't crazy about some of the other colors of embossing glaze I had, and I didn't want to use yellow because I didn't think it would show up very well. And I think I'm still glad that I chose to use the pumice stone. I really like how my sunflower turned out. Otherwise, I tried to go tone on tone. So this is, I believe, candied apple. I have all of the exact colors listed in the description below. I accidentally made a huge mess with that one. Always a good time. It was packed in there pretty good. So I'm going to have to do a little fixing of the sunflower because it has some red tips, but I think I actually stamped it again, so all is well. Now, I do want to mention there is a stamp die combo and a stamp only combo, as there is for most of the Simon Says Stamp STAMPtember sets. If you are at all interested in this set, the STAMPtember collaborations are limited edition exclusives, meaning when they're gone, they're gone. If you would like it, I would suggest pausing the video, hopping over to Simon Says Stamp, purchasing your stamp set or stamp die combo, and then come back and watch the rest of the video after you have secured your purchase. So I'm going to continue to do this for all of these. Kitsch Flamingo was the pink color I used, and I didn't really have a color scheme in mind. So basically I just went where the spirit moved me for this project. It came together really fast. Less than 45 minutes probably. I will say I knew that I wanted to do florals on the wood planks background from Simon Says Stamp, which is my all-time favorite wood type of background stamp. I have used it over and over for years. I really like it. And I knew I wanted my flowers to really pop on it, but my original idea was like to make a wreath or something with the flowers, or to do like arches and have the sentiment in the middle. Like, we had a lot of different versions happening in my head before we got to this point. And it was a happy accident. I actually did the flowers, and then I did my background, also backward from how I usually do this. And I was doing the embossed resist for the flowers and kind of laying them out on the wood planks background, which you'll see here in a little bit, and just laying them down kind of gave me the plan for putting my card together. So it isn't exactly, I suppose, I didn't have an exact plan in mind. I just knew, obviously, I needed to feature this stamp set, and I knew what background I wanted. Hey, when you're creating, sometimes limiting your options forces creativity. That's what we're going to go with tonight. This is some salvaged patina. And then I also used spiced marmalade. I really, really love salvaged patina and spiced marmalade together. This is the other fun thing about doing a card like this that you don't have an exact plan for. Those two colors together really speak to me. I actually have a fabric collection that I purchased this year that's that blue color, that salvage patina color, and the spiced marmalade color. It has some other colors in it too, like I think a navy and some taupes, but that's what that inspired me, and I thought those colors would be beautiful for a fall card. So I am taking a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel of smooth white cardstock. We're stamping it with ground espresso archival ink. You could just use ground espresso distress ink or distress oxide. The reason I like the archival ink for this step in this process is that it's not going to blend out when you ink blend over the top, if that makes sense. It's going to keep the crisp detail. I have done it both ways. This is actually the way I prefer now because that archival ink isn't going to go anywhere. If you stamp with distress or distress oxide first, it has a tendency to fade out a little bit. And if that's the look you're going for, that's totally fine as well. I'm using gathered twigs first, and then we're going to use ground espresso. That always just kind of gives you, a lot of the gathered twigs does get covered up. However, I love that little lighter area in the center, and that's kind of what we're going for. And I am doing a very heavy application. I want this to look like an old piece of wood. That is the look we're going for. And once I have this ink blended the way I want, I am going to take Crooked Broomstick Distress Mica Stain, and we are going to splatter the background with that. It kind of gives gold shimmer splatter all over the wood. And then we need to let that dry. So I stamped and embossed all my florals, but quickly realized if I needed to have dry time, I better get that background done and drying because I do want to stamp and emboss. I could have done that first, but with the Distress Oxide, it really does need to dry a little bit. But I decided, let's get our background, inked, splattered, drying, and then while I do the embossed resist for the florals, it can dry and we can come back and put it all together. With the Distress Mica Stains, you want to make sure that you have mixed up the spray bottle. Look at that beautiful shimmer and shine. And yes, that splatter that was already in the box, that's from the Tim Holtz cards coming up. There's a little sneaky peek. I don't know that you get a whole lot from that, but I thought I would throw that out there. Okay, I decided I want to use Pray Without Ceasing. I actually really love all the sentiments in this set. Trust in the Lord and have faith and pray without ceasing. Beautiful, beautiful sentiments. And like I said, I love that they're Christian based. I thought that was a really wonderful addition to STAMPtember. I am taking different colors of Pawsitively saturated ink. That was Cantaloupe and this is Mandarin. Yes, I know they're not in the same trio of colors, but somehow that's how this happens. So that's what we're doing. And I am doing embossed resist over the same color, basically, that I used for the flower itself. Then I'm going to take a dry rag and buff any ink that might be sitting on the embossed area off. Look how beautiful that flower is. For the sunflower, this is the only one that took a little bit extra work. I'm using Sunbeam and Citrine with Woodsy in the center. With this technique, you don't have to really worry about staying in the lines, and that was kind of what I went for. So yes, I stamped and then I die cut as always with my STAMPtember videos, I did use the Brother Scan and Cut. I didn't have the dies at the time of filming my video. And because of that, I use the Scan and Cut. There might be a couple of flowers that aren't cut correctly. In fact, I know there are. My Scan and Cut didn't want to read them correctly. And I was able to kind of hide the imperfections since I'm overlapping the flowers. So that's a little tip for you. You can see that funny little notched area in the blue flower. Next, we're going to use Surf and Ocean over our salvaged patina. I just love that sunflower. I think those flowers on the background look beautiful. And the dark really just makes that embossing pop. And again, always wipe away that excess ink. This step is so fast. We have some carnation and rose for our Kitsch Flamingo flower. This one also did not cut correctly. This was the flower that gave me fits. Also, the branch didn't want to cut very well either. I stamped the little branch with the little leaves on it twice and embossed it, and one of them didn't die cut correctly, so I just didn't use it. Then we're using watermelon and cherry. But fun fact, it will register the embossed outline of an image with your Scan and Cut. So if you have a Scan and Cut, something to try. I've tried lots of new things this year. Die cutting my craft cardstock, die cutting colorful embossed images. It does read them. It may not always read them exactly perfect, but you know, some sacrifices have been made. Next, I am going to take Fairway and Field to do all of the leaf pieces. And this right here, this is what inspired my card, because I was laying them on the background because I wanted to see how the colors popped on that wood planks background. And this is what led to, oh, I kind of like the flowers just like that. So let's tuck in some greenery and call it good. I love when that happens, don't you? Oh, I love that dark green on there. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention. You may see I'm using the small round detail blending brushes for all of my embossed resist with the florals. I love these for small images. If you're using bigger blending brush tools, that ink is going to basically cover up every area. Now, you could use a bigger ink or a brush, pardon me, for the full coverage, but when you want the little detail, it's so hard with a big blending brush. So I love, love, love these little round detail blending brushes. Okay, I'm not going to use that last sunflower. We can save that for something else. And I'm just going to tuck these in, see if I kind of like how it looks. I mean, I automatically knew, look at the color against that wood planks background. It's so, so pretty. The finished card won't look exactly like this. I moved a few things around when I went to assemble, but this is a yes for me. So let's stamp our sentiment. I am going to grab my sentiment, place it down in the bottom left kind of half of the card so that it's somewhat framed up by the florals that are going along that side. And we're going to stamp that with a clear embossing ink. Yes, I forgot to put the right insert in my MISTI. I'm so grateful that it ended up stamping okay anyway. Then I'm going to take white embossing powder and sprinkle that on and heat emboss. I love how the white pops against that dark brown wood grain panel. So pretty. We're going to adhere all of our florals with some foam adhesive. I'm going to speed up the assembly of the florals just a little bit, and then we will embellish. So to put everything together, I decided it would be easiest to start at either the top or the bottom and build my way up so that I could tuck the flowers and have a more natural look. I decided to put just a tiny bit of foam adhesive in the center of each flower before attaching, and I'm placing some small foam squares underneath the leaves to attach those. If I can, I'm tucking the flowers. You can see that one slightly is under and slightly overlaps the sunflower, and I'm hiding the imperfections in the pink and teal flowers since I had a little bit of trouble getting those to die cut correctly. If some of the images hang off the edge a little bit, that's totally fine. We'll snip those off with our scissors when we're all done. I absolutely love this. I could see doing this with so many different floral stamp sets. As always, my goal with my STAMPtember videos is to inspire you to maybe even use things that you already have on hand to recreate similar techniques or card designs, even if you don't pick up the exclusive stamp set. Once we have this, I'm snipping off the excess. We're going to glue this panel to a white top fold card base, and then you guys guessed it, you know what we need now. Well, yes, a heart accent, but we need some pearls too. I want to embellish the center of all of my flowers with a tone-on-tone accent, except for the sunflower. The sunflower is getting a little red candy heart. I felt like that was just the perfect little accent for that. And then some of my flowers will have 2 little pearls and some will have 1. I liked to just mix it up a little bit. I'm also going to use different sizes of pearls for the florals that have 2. All of the colors of pearls I'm using are listed down in the description below with links. These are all from Pretty Pink Posh. I absolutely love these, and I use them all of the time. You could even scatter additional pearls around if you wanted. We'll finish with a little red pearl in the center, and that is it. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this beautiful floral card featuring the Sweet and Sassy Have Faith limited edition stamp set for STAMPtember 2023. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There is exclusive content, information, and behind-the-scenes content. Top-tier members will receive a handmade birthday card during your birthday month, access to D-Stash, and monthly exclusive lives, plus so much more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell to always be notified when there is a new video or I go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.